And hi there guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to RPG Blitz. My name is BOWIEtheHERO, and I'm going to be running Illusion of Gaia, otherwise known as Illusion of Time in Europe, or if you do know the Japanese title, Gaia Gensoki. It's an action RPG on the Super Nintendo, and it's a bit awesome, if I do say so myself. Yeah, we're going to be running any percent, which generally is a category for the game that hasn't seen as much time, or as much general love overall in marathons. 100% is the category that collects all of the secret red jewels and then fights the secret boss at the end of the game. Any percent is a little bit faster. There's only 3 runners in the world with a sub 2 time, all which happen to be 158s as well, kind of funnily enough. But it's a very, very fast-paced, very action-heavy game. A few things before we start. We're going to be changing to button type 2, which changes attack from A to B, and changes items from B to Y, which means that A is not used, but it does allow us to mash. So this is actually faster for mashing and getting through the game in general. With that in mind, I will be starting my timer very, very shortly. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Welcome to the game. So, in terms of narrative, Will, a year ago, went to the Tower of Babel with his father. The party met with disaster, and only Will made it back and doesn't know how, and he can't really believe anything that's happened. We're not really sure what's going on there, but we're going to basically be going on an expedition to find out what happened to his father. So at the end of the school day, Will and his friends leave school and go to have a nice little chat at their nearby Seaside cave where they like to hang out. One thing to note with this game is that movement in this game is nuts, because there's no run button. Even though the fact that the X button is not used at all, there is no run button in this game. In order to run and dash, you have to double tap. So every single direction I'm pressing and every single time you see I'm running is a double tap input. So we're introduced to a little power that Will has here, which are his psycho powers. So for some reason, don't ask why, Will has the ability to like pull things closer to him by spinning his flute, his trusty flute. That is his weapon that gets him around places and things. So yeah, he has these dark or these psychic powers for some reason that no one knows why. We will find out very, very shortly. But for now, it's a bit of a mystery. We return to our home, and there's a pig in our home randomly. So again, to clarify the difference between any percent and hundo, hundo, or 100%, we get all 50 red jewels. In any percent, we get a grand total of 0. Because we don't need any. When you collect red jewels, you get gifted things like attack ups, defense ups, HP ups, extra healing herbs, all that kind of stuff, to keep yourself alive and healthy. Generally, there is a safety version of this route, which gets, I think, 5 red jewels, and gets an extra herb, but I don't need it, so it's whatever. So the princess, it turns out the girl who came down the stairs was actually the princess of a nearby castle, and she gets taken back to the castle by her guards. She's very sad. We receive overnight a letter saying the king knows that I have this crystal ring for some reason. We're like, wait, what crystal ring? What's going on? I know you have the crystal ring. Bring it to my castle, and everything's going to be all right. At which point, our grandma, Lola, she decides to sing us a song, which we learn. So we now know how to play Lola's melody on our flute. Lovely. If you hear me splitting, it's because I do have my own splits up, just for my own interest. I very recently PB'd in this game, and got a 158.39. Which is very, very good, so it's going to be fun to go up against that. Yeah, this game is on the Super Nintendo. It came out, I believe, in 94, I want to say? 94? No, 93 in one area, 94 in another region, I believe. I can't remember the exact dates anymore, it's been a while. But it's old, and it's very, very cool. But yeah, so as I said, a lot of it is down to double tap dashing, and it's going to be very, very hard to keep that up for a 2-hour run. We speak to the guard, and he shoves us all the way back home, which allows us to run a little bit faster on that screen. What's really cool about Illusion of Gaia, and I think one of the most important things about Illusion of Gaia as a speed game, is that it's one of those runs that kind of teeters between being a glitchy run and not, because it doesn't have any major glitches. We don't have, like, you know, wall clips or massive out of bounds, but there is a whole host of really, really cool tricks and little like mechanics abuses and little tiny glitches that speed up the game overall without really breaking the flow of the like intended gameplay nature. So what I'm doing here, as an example, is called guard dashing. So when you dash and you let go, you actually have I think it's about 9 frames. I think if Hulk's in chat, he'll probably confirm the amount. It could be 12. But you have some frames where you actually, when you let go of the button, you keep running for a little bit. If you let go of the button, input a guard, and then repress the button, you can continue dashing whilst holding onto a guard. So it's 8 frames. Okay, cool. So it's a pretty cool thing, but you're allowed to essentially do an action whilst also inputting and keeping your dash. And it may not seem like it's massively helpful, and it doesn't, again, like break some things, but it does allow us just to speed up these small moments here and there. And that's kind of going to be the nature of the game for the majority of the run. What's really interesting as well is generally most text boxes are not this slow. Whenever you get key items and specific cutscenes in the game, you will get, you know, 1 frame text. So we mash with Y, B, and A, and that's why we use Control Type 2. But yeah, most text is really, really fast. But then you'll get the odd bit of text that generally is a bit slower and a little bit more laborious. But generally, we get through it nice and fine. So we're going to tank a hit here, just because that guy's going to be in the way. So here's our first glitch. There. So there are certain enemies that we have to defeat in this game in order to release white orbs. And what those white orbs do is they destroy barricades and barriers that prevent you from moving. But when we menu, and whilst the white orb is actually up, it actually it gives us the effect of the white orb happening by removing the barrier without actually having to wait for the orb to go over to the barrier and destroy it. So essentially, every single time we defeat an enemy that's going to unlock a path through the game, we just menu, and it's nice and quick. Wow. That actually happened. Okay. That was actually a really good section, but I dropped 1 input. Got hit by a bat. So generally, it's going to be a lot of that stuff going on, basically. Okay, so wait 3 seconds, hit the switch, and off we go. Okay, don't to me, are they? They always are. Okay, that's fine. You can do it there, but actually you can sometimes screw it up. So this is our first. We've been able to get to these places before. These are called dark spaces. But we can. I'm just going to turn down the game audio a bit so you can hear me a bit better. Apparently I'm coming through quite quiet. But yeah, these dark spaces are a place that Will can access. So Will's dark power, his psychic ability, allowed to jump between these dimensions to these dark spaces. And by looking at this statue, we can transform into a person called the Dark Knight Freedan. He is, as his name would indicate, a Dark Knight. And he's got long flowing hair, a cool bronze sword, and he's just a bit of a beast all round. Wow, actually, look at that. Okay, cool. This is a little bit iffy. Wow. Okay, I have to be careful now. I'm gonna play this a bit safe. Missed a few hits like that now. It's kind of silly. Cool, he got from half. Nice and easy. Nice and easy game. Okay, so whenever we finish dungeons, Dark Knight Freedan cannot leave dungeons, essentially. So whenever we leave a place where there's danger and where Will needs to fight, we will revert back to young Will. I did another little trick there as well. When you run flush with the lower wall, with the wall that is horizontal there, you actually end up having to kind of have a chat with Lily. That's the name of the lovely blue-haired lady there. But by doing a jump attack through that spot, we actually kind of jump through that bit, and we're closer to the door when the cutscene ends, which just allows us to get out of the door, you know, a few frames quicker. Nice and easy. Okay guys, I'm going to ask you to do me a favour. Those of you who watch my stream know what this is. We're going to play a game where we're going to try and be in... it's like team building exercise. No repeats. If you can do this, let's give it a go. You've found a large yummy roast leg of yak. We're going to spell this out with no repeats. Y-O-U''V-E. My chat will know what to do. No repeats. Oh, sigh. Opening it up. Good start. Anyway, the large yummy roast leg of yak is a bit of food to keep us going on our long journey around the world. I didn't split, lol. Yeah, I mean it's very hard to get right. It's a trick that it's a thing I used to do when I was an actor. We used to do like the team building exercises where you'd have to count to 20 together without anyone shouting out the same number twice. One of these ones you have to kind of feel the room and feel when it's your turn to speak rather than kind of like jumping in with a number, which is normally done with a cast of anywhere between, you know, 7 and 20. So having hundreds of people try it at once is never going to work. Okay, so we left the castle with Kara. So when we went to go and see Kara at the start, she said, come back at night and we can run away from here. I don't want to be in the castle anymore. So we run away with her and Lily, who takes us to her village called Itori. When we went back to our house, Grandma Lola and Grandpa Bill weren't there. There was a note from the Jackal, who said, I've got your grandparents, I'm after you. And then Lily says, actually no, they're fine, they're in my village. So we go to the village and play Lola's melody, and it just so happens to be the spell that unlocks Itori Village's actual look. There it is. It's an actual village. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. You guys need to remember about Jackal, because he's going to be important later on in the story. So we're going to go into this dark space now. So there are dark spaces in normal places as well. So there are sometimes you'll see these statues that have a little glowing orb next to them. These unlock new skills. So we learn Psycho Dash. By holding down the attack button, we can charge up ourselves, and you'll flash slowly, quicker and quickly. And basically on the count of 3, you can then unleash a Psycho Dash to deal big damage and break down walls. And it's kind of like a bit Zelda-y in the way that you would then attack walls to find out what can be broken, and then Psycho Dash them to break them. So we're going to get our first taste of that right now. Going to be collecting 2 Incan masks. This is Incan Mask A, obviously. So one thing to note as well about this is that, or one thing I did when I got that skill as Will, I charged and then unleashed a Psycho Dash as Will, which basically moves me down like half a tile, which just gets me out the door again quicker. And that's the kind of stuff we're going to be seeing, really, across the board. So, Now we've got the moon, the Incan mask, we can go to the Moon Tribe camp where the second Incan mask is being held. And we're going to have a nice little test, which is actually harder. I'll explain it in a bit, but I'm going to charge up a Psycho Dash and use that to kill off 2 and weaken another one. Oh, please. That's bad. Could have been better, but that's life. So, the difference is, I had 20 seconds to do that, and I start off by charging a Psycho Dash, defeat 2, damage 1, finish the third one off, and then obviously just hunt down the final 3. So, usually when games get localized from Japan to the West, they generally get made easier. The Japanese version of the game actually has 60 seconds to do that, so the fact that we only have 20 is a massive increase in difficulty. I don't doubt that people have failed that casually. So. Let's see if we get a glitched Lily or not. Sometimes she'll walk into the wall just for funsies. No, she's not going to be glitched. Okay. So this is our first like major dungeon. You'll see that the game is kind of broken up into like minor dungeon, then large dungeon. Minor dungeons being just dungeons to get through the game, and then these large ones which have their own unique music and a boss at the end of them. So, if you've played this game before, you'll know that in order to level up your stats, if you defeat every single enemy on a screen, you gain a stat, be it 1 attack plus, or 1 defense plus, or 1 whatever plus. That's how you gain your stats in this game. But I'm obviously dodging everything. Now, this game would actually be completely and utterly like impossible almost, or just a silly idea to speedrun, if the game didn't have a very intriguing and very helpful mechanic of when you defeat bosses, you are gifted every single stat you missed from enemies up to the point of that boss. So, when I defeat the boss of this dungeon, I will gain all the stats that I've missed up to this point. So we can do a quick dash guard there through that to not have to stop our momentum. And upcoming is going to be our first set of larger kind of mechanics abuses and sequence breaking. So normally what you'd have to do is go and get free down here, but no. If we do dash attacks, it actually extends the hitbox of a regular attack just far enough for us to kill that guy there, which then opens up this thing. So I'm going to do a jump attack into the top tile of a horizontal facing slide and get the speed as if I came down from the very, very top. This is only doable on horizontal tiles because of the way that the actual tile set works. Horizontal slopes, sorry. I can't do it on these. You can only do it on horizontal ones because you can lock yourself into the top set of tiles, essentially. So there's that. Yeah, bad. Okay, there we go. Grab a herb, or an herb as the game likes to say. When I was a kid, that used to confuse me no end, seeing an herb. Oh my god. So I could die here, actually, if I'm unlucky. Hopefully I'm not. Cool, that's fine. Yeah, so the game can spawn those slimes a bit earlier, but it's whatever. If you're not really going to get it most of the time. Okay, and again, another sequence break is you're supposed to go and get a melody and then bring the melody in here and play the song, and then this tile lights up. You don't need to light it up. You can just move to this tile anyway and wait on it for long enough for a long enough period of time for it to open the door. So we don't need to actually wait at all. Because it's a marathon run, I'm just going to heal because it's a marathon run. Herb. So it's a big thing. Obviously I know that Americans pronounce it which confuses me to no end, but it's fine. Okay, so our first boss, Cast Off. This is a very technical boss in terms of the difference between a 1 cycle and a 2 cycle. I'll try and go for the 1 cycle. I'll explain it afterwards. It's the only time to do so, so I'm going to focus. Okay. It's a very, very hard 1 cycle to get. So, Kastoth has 40 HP and we hit him by 2 per hit, which means that we have to hit him 20 times in 1 cycle. This is possible. I've got it a fair few times, maybe about 9 or 10 times now in runs. It saves about 15, 16 seconds. So, how is it possible? If the first hit that you impact, so basically you have to wait until the head is glowing at the top. When his main jewel is glowing, it means he's vulnerable. If the first frame of his vulnerability marries up with the final active frame of your final like active hitbox that you throw out from Freedan's attack, if they marry up together, so that has to be like double frame perfect essentially. You then have I believe 18 frame window to get the next 19 hits in. Which means that you have to have at least 1 more frame perfect input, and then the other 18 have to be within 1 frame of frame perfect. So the more frame perfect inputs you get, the more leeway you have. But that's how tight it is. If you want to throw out 20 frame perfect inputs essentially, there'll be 18 frames left of vulnerability before you run out. That's how tight it is. And I know that maybe doesn't make too much sense, but the first hit has to be double frame perfect, then you have to get at least 1 more frame perfect input to allow the other 18 to have a 1 frame window each. It's very, 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 very hard. But you can kind of know when you get it, because it just becomes a pattern, it becomes a routine. So after we fight Kastoth, we jump down and we find ourselves on the Incan golden ship, which after going to sleep and having a dream about things, we realise the true state of it. The Incan gold ship is not what we think it is. It's clearly knackered. So also notice my HP is now up to, I want to say 13, rather than the 8 we started with. So my stats have updated now that I've defeated Kastoth. So, if you're doing 100%, there's a missable red jewel here, which is important that after you awaken the reality, you have to leave and go onto the deck and speak to Seth, the purple dude, who is now no longer in the game because he's fallen off the ship and has been eaten by Riverson or Leviathan. Shout outs to name changes for early 90s reasons. I think it was some kind of like deified name. So we equip and use the yak. There we go. The large yummy roasted leg of our yak is used. This segment is kind of annoying. It's mostly just story triggers. So you hit 1 fish and then you wait for like 30 seconds, and then you can fill the time doing whatever you want. Jump attacks, guard dashes, pretending that you're getting really sick, and then vomiting on Kara's shoes. Whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you. But I like to vomit on Kara's shoes. Time passed and nothing to break them with the monotony. Will couldn't stand it. A minute seemed like forever, but he could hear the march of time. Jesus, dude. Okay. Have to wait for a pot to randomly appear. You can also notice that my HP is going down, like every single scene, which is kind of nice. Kind of shows that you're getting hungry and starving and losing energy. So this is where we get a little bit of RNG. I missed a fish, great. So we use our herb here to restore our HP. We want to get back to max HP, so because I missed a fish I lost a bit of time, but max HP, then speak to Kara. It's actually risky to use the herb, and I probably shouldn't have done it in a marathon run, but Go for it, I don't care. Okay, and then when she lands, hit another one, and then try and get a... Oh, man. You want to try and hit a fish and get what's called the silverfish in the last bit. Okay. Fun fact, this is one of 2 screens in the game that doesn't have the HUD up, and so it's so you can see the stars in the sky. One of them is a red star, and it's important for you to remember that. Because there's a puzzle coming up regarding it, but it's one of 2 screens in the game that doesn't have the HUD. Literally every single other screen has it. And now we wait for the sharks to go around. Sharky and George, crime busters of the sea. Sharky and George can solve any mystery. Okay, that's the end of this section now. We just speak to Kara and we get ourselves a cheeky bit of scurvy. And then we split. So this guy gives us some oranges and some lemons and shit. Ooh, excuse me, excuse my language, sorry. He gives us some oranges and lemons, and then we get better, and we're fine, and we have no more scurvy, because we have vitamin C. Yay! And then we go to Frisia, or Frisia, however you want to say it. And this game's very dark, by the way. It's an incredibly dark game. And... So, this is a town full of slavery. I'm just going to say it. These dudes in the purple robes are basically running a slave ring. There's some dudes there who currently aren't having a great day. We're going to go to this cave over here and have a little cheeky chat with this cheeky chap. And he's like, do you want to have a look at the slaves? And we're going to speak to Sam on the right-hand side. And he's like, save us, please. If we're doing 100%, we would actually go and find a secret slave and then sell him out to get a red jewel, because Will's a nice guy, dude. But, yeah. Until then, we're just going to speak to Sam, keep the slave safe, because we don't want that red jewel, because we're a nice guy. And then we're going to make our way to the diamond mines. I like to call the diamond mines. It is a cool level. When I was learning this game 5 years ago, it was so much fun to learn. But now that I'm like a top level runner, it's horrid. It's so tight. I'm going to be doing 2 death warps in here. I haven't really talked too much about death warps because I haven't done any yet. This is a good time to start talking about DP. So at the top of the HUD you'll see DP in the center with hearts saying 0, then 18 on the right. Every time I defeat a regular enemy they drop those little crystals, and if I collect one they're worth 1, 2 and 5 respectively, based on their size of the number on the right. When I get to 100 that will give me a free heart. Now if I was to die with a heart available, I would respawn on the screen I died with all the enemies I defeated still dead. If I have 0, I will go back to the beginning of the dungeon, and all the enemies I killed come back to life. So, the thing about this is that when you have these long segments where you don't want to take damage, dying early can add a minute to the run. It won't kill the run, but it'll add time, you know, and a lot of time to the run. Bad movement, sorry. However, it does mean that when we want to do quick and easy death warps, we can do them. Another one of these. So I'm gearing up for one now, and we're fine for it, to be honest, so that's all good. Again, more whiteboard manipulation. Gonna kill this guy, because he's the guy we want to kill. Damage boost through that snake, or that worm, because we don't want to worry about that. Do another one of these, and make our way to this dark space. So this dark space, we're going to get a new spell, or a new skill for Freedan. So What's cool to know is that when you're gaining a skill, the game transforms you into the character you're going to be getting the skill for. So we actually utilize that quite a lot to make our transformations and our things easier. So this is the Dark Friar, and of course the Dark Friar is a dark power that only the Dark Knight Freedan can use. Dark power to dark a dark. Use the dark to dark. Again, the same thing pretty much as Psycho Dash, but instead of being a melee attack or like a little bonus like push, we're going to be unleashing a long-ranged bullet essentially. That's a hard screen to get through fast. Okay, activate him, kill him. Run through. The early activation means that he fires his shots so you don't get hit when you run down. And we're up and round. We're going to save one slave. We're going to save one slave. Because this slave gives us the elevator key. So taking all that damage is great. If I was to die before this, I would cry. I would cry bitter salt tears into my tea. But now we can take the death warp because the elevator is right by the start. So we death warp to the beginning. Don't move left, thank you. Okay, so now we can use the elevator to get to the elevator. I don't know. The perspective is weird. So that's the thing. So we have to now get 2 more keys. So there's 2 exits to the right and left here, which are going to have keys available in them. And having both gets us to the true area where the slaves are. Whoops. Unleash a Psycho Dash to break the ball and chain. Save that slave to give ourselves the first key to the mine. So we note that we've got the key to the mine. Okay, it's important to know. You have the key to the mine. I'm gonna play this safe as well. I'm gonna get out there. Normally, again, I would really push my HP because I want to die again soon. But so we got ourselves the key to the mine, and then we also get the mine key. Ooh! Can I get an ooh? Yeah, 90s game shows. Let's go. You'll win the washing machine. Ooh. Okay, so now that we've got the 2 mine keys, we can go down and save Sam, who was the cheeky chappy we had a cheeky chatty with. We'll save him. Didn't get the Sam jump, but he will teach us a brand new song. Because, again, we do play a flute, for the most part. So there's that. Sam's a bit sad about life, and he's like, yeah, whatever, go away, bye. So we run away. And now we're going to do a final death warp to get out of the dungeon. I'm going to save time here. Wow. I did. I don't know how. My PB is really, really funny. There's no point in talking about it because it's a marathon run and whatever, but this is one of the few splits I can save time on. Anyway. Continuing. So now that we've got the Song of Memory, the reason we should do all this, because there is a bit of story stuff that I've skipped. If I was to do a bit more exploration in Frisia before I continued, like at the start, Kara got taken somewhere to this hotel. And if we followed her, we would have found out that our dude at the back in the green, that's Lance, he lost his memory after the shipwreck. So this Song of Memories is going to jog his memories. And now this song is called Into the Earthen Womb, and enjoy this cutscene. What is this place? Somehow I feel a little homesick. I feel like I'm back in the womb.
Everything that's happened and the people I've met are pouring into my head.
I was raised in the town of South Cape. When my father didn't come back from an expedition, the most important thing in my life was gone. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't stand my father using soldiers to invade other countries. It's awful when someone loses their life. What had taken years to put together is destroyed in one moment. I wonder if Seth is alright. And then, of course...
People live on because they forget about unpleasant things.
And funnily enough, everyone always thinks that I'm putting on a Mickey Mouse voice there, and then when someone asks me to do a Mickey Mouse impression and I do that, they're like, that doesn't sound anything like Mickey. So at this point, I'm resigned to just people's ears are weird. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so Lance's memory is now back, and we're going to go see Will's cousin, Neil, who's an inventor and is building a plane. So this is just checking the 4 inventions that he's made: a camera, a telescope, an air box thingy, and some wings. And then we leave. Because, like, great, you're really, really smart, we get it, nerd, let's go. For those of you who know where my name comes from as well, Bowie the Hero, you may know that game. And if you know that game, and you know things that happen within that game, this section here might be a tad familiar to you. It was weird that I grew up and played both Shining Force 2 and this game, and both games happen to have the Nazca lines in them. Camila is not here. You cannot go into the head and find a ship. It's weird, don't worry. We're going to speak to Kara. We're going to speak to Lily. We're going to speak to Kara again. And then we're going to go see another Moon Tribe dude who's hanging out down here. And then I'm going to try and get a pixel perfect bit of movement here. If you're pixel perfect, you can run between Lance and Kara. I haven't really talked about it again, but there are elements of this game. Well, there are 2 types of pixels, alright? Excuse the wording. Soft and hard pixels. Soft pixels are things like these things. So if I press down, I'll slide round like that. But if I walk into a dude or like an NPC, I'll just walk into the NPC. You can't get past them, even if you're a pixel to the left. But if you are a pixel to the left of a wall, you'll slide round and continue. So that's a pixel perfect movement. It saves, I mean, what? 10 frames? Maybe that? But it's whatever. It doesn't matter at all. So, yeah, by figuring out the thing that the red star was there on the left foot, there's a secret tile which takes us to the Sky Garden. And this is one of the cooler dungeons in the game. It's got amazing music, but it's also got a really, really unique puzzle idea where you can like jump to the top side and bottom side of Sky Garden. The bottom side is harder because enemies take 1 less damage and deal 1 more damage. So they wreck you if you're not careful. And the game uses like the underside and overside as like a puzzle mechanic to be able to like find your way around both sides in order to continue to find 4 crystal balls. This is our first of 4. You found a crystal ball. A crystal ball! Take a death to get back to the beginning of this segment, because these are 4 separate segments. And then we take a death, pop the crystal ball in there, which creates a bridge to the boss, and then we'll go to our next area. Shout out to anyone who got that crystal ball reference there. Good game. Hit this dude, let him come over, jump attack to hit him twice, 1 more time to finish it. Use our power of pulling to pull the statue towards you. We're then going to transform into our good lad Freedan once more, because we need his power and his coolness to continue. This is one of the trickier of the sections of Sky Garden to get right as well, actually, because we need to be a bit more risky to go super fast. Do you like risky strats? Press 473 if you like risky strats. One, two, three. Got hit anyway. That's fine. So now I'm gonna die in 2 hits now, so I gotta be careful. Go to the left. Ah! Okay, fine, I can't do it. Whatever, I'll play safe. I'm not going to open this chest. So you can soft lock the game here. If you run to, because I want to get through and get to the chest, but you do not open it whilst the flashing animation is going on, because it soft locks the game. So I'm going to run down here and die to him because it's quicker. And now we're going to do perhaps the biggest skip of this dungeon as well. So 3 is a really cool area. This is part 3. It's really cool because it uses loads of the upside down mechanics to kind of like skip loads of the dungeon. But I'm just going to... I did it slowly, but you can just jump straight up it. But you can do the whole sideways like jump attack mechanics to actually get up these slopes and just skip the entire puzzle here. You're meant to go to the upside down... no reference to the Stranger Things. Go to the upside down part of the world and then hit these blocks to move these little things up and down, and then continue that way, but not this time. And then we're going to do a quick... That's the only actual like clip we do in the game, to be honest. Which is quite cool. But yeah, that's the 3rd area. Now, when it comes to playing this game at like a high level, you want to be leaving this area sub 40 to know that you're on like a pretty good pace. They're like the starts. Sub 40 out of this 3rd area is kind of like a start to getting to those times that you really want to be kind of like knocking down the low 159s, so what, like the sub 2 kind of thing. Like it's hard to get a sub 40 there, it really is. But when you get it, you know that you're on a nice solid pace. So, this movement is really tricky. Oh no, I'm too slow. Yeah, take it. That's fine. So, the reason that's really nice and the little clip's good is because we get to have Freedan nice and early. Normally we'd have to run to the northwest of this section to get Freedan, but now that we have him early, we can just get him now. And then just do this. So I'm taking my HP again as low as possible because I want to do another death warp, get knocked up, get knocked down, and then walk around the statue. Statue skip, nice and easy, but the golem on the right can mess with you if you want. He fires in 8 directions. If he fires his laser to the left, you have to just dodge it, and then it's hard to do statue skip. But... Okay, boss time. Viper is easier than Cast-Off, but it's very, very hard to do the strats that are very, very fast, and you have to get lucky as well. So. Yeah, 4 hits is not good at all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, jump. Missed it, not good. 1, 1, 2. Not the best fight ever. Okay, I'm going to say this slow, just because I'm getting errors. Didn't get it again. Yeah. His angle was horrible. I got hit by one shot that I really shouldn't have. I was a little bit too close to him, and that kind of cost me a little bit of time. Not too much time loss, but it's whatever. Come on, Viper, be nice, dude. 4 hits again, man. It's not being nice. Viper. There we go, thank you. Oh well. Yeah, Viper wasn't being kind there, so Viper, the newer strats are really hard to get. You need him to kind of like shoot his... Because he has 2 types of feather flurries. He'll have the one where he like spits it into like a little position and they'll fire in 4 directions. And then he'll have one where he like fires it in a volley of 6. And if he fires it in the 4, but if he gives you bad angles and then he swoops in an angle, it's really hard to get hits. You want to get about like 10 hits, honestly, on the about 10. I think you can get 10, like anywhere between 8 and 10 hits on the first swoop, but I got 4 both times because he didn't give me good angles on the feathers or his dive. And then I misplaced myself slightly, but oh well. It's one of those strats where he's been rerouted that fight slightly, and it's just a little bit tough to get life. Do note as well that if you hold down your attack button, the essentially the parachutes are just hair sprites, so they can be charged like anything else, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we're making our way towards a more intriguing part of the game, a segment that most people will find a bit distressing, and it's going to be horrible for me to run against because I gold split this in my PB. This is Moo. First of all, we're going to do the Seaside Palace before we do that. Moo caused casual players much confusion. It's a very, very difficult area, and enemies are annoying, and they're stressful, and it's fun. It's a really, really good stage for the speedrun. It really is. It's quite tense, and when you're first learning the run, it's very, very scary, and you have to kind of take it quite slowly. But when you get this stage down, it is so cool, because it's full of loads of little tricks to allow ourselves to get around things. It's just, oh man, it's sick. Menu's nice and responsive, about as responsive as FF5 menu, so it's very nice. Gonna throw this stone into the pond here. We'll give ourselves basically what this is like the source of life, of water, and it's been corrupted. So the purification stone purifies, funnily enough, the source of all life, which causes the skeletons and the slimes that have been around here to become human again because they had died or they'd been warped by the fouling of the source of life. So shout outs to the purification stone for saving everyone in the world. So to kind of go through what we're doing here, obviously, whenever we've defeated a boss, we've collected a mystic statue. They basically, around the world, there are ruins that have been distorted and changed. And we're going to kind of get a little bit more information about why that's happening at the end of this dungeon. We're going to have a chat with an old friend. Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Okay, so Seaside Palace done. Moo is about a 10-minute split. It's not too long. Nice and fast when you kind of like do what we do to get through it. Golems here have a lot of HP. These guys have that much HP. So you're probably thinking, how am I going to kill one in one cycle? Well, my friends, welcome to the Golem quick kill. Charge one psycho dash, charge a second. He'll wake up, move to the left, jump attack, and then he's done. 2 psycho dashes, 1 to wake him up, 1 to knock him down, then attack, jump attack is enough to finish him off. It's quite tight, but you get used to it after a while. So that's 1. We're then going to do this cool trick, where we essentially do a jump attack facing backwards to go through the golem, which is kind of cool. And then use obviously the orb cancel glitches to get through those things quickly. Jump attack through the spikes. No, this is very, very hard. This relies on RNG. Go away. Cool. And use the bubble to bounce you. And then just double taps for days. Tap, tap. So, you're probably wondering why there's an item here. The game kind of tells you that by defeating certain enemies, statues will face a particular direction, and then when you go to the point where those eyes meet and search, you'll find the Statue of Hope. And then these Statue of Hopes allow us to access different parts of the dungeon. So, where were we? Don't need that. Wow. There's a cool little clip here again that we're going to do. I'm going to do a jump attack into this wall and go behind the bubble. So, those ghosts, by the way, or like the things that look like whiz robes, are called flashers. They port anywhere, and they can port on your position, and you will take a hit, and they will deal 3 damage, which sucks. So you can get unlucky, and I have lost a run on an amazing pace just to them porting into the wrong position. Life. Get used to it, kids. And also their bolts that they fire home in and seek you out, so that's great. At least they seek you out for 1 hook. After a while they will stop following you. But yeah. Okay, so first thing, we're going to kill this guy. Very, very nice. And they're going to go like this. Jump attack, go to move behind. That's very hard to do, so you need to face the opposite direction. If you just attack and then jump attack, you don't want to move anywhere, but the hit you do then pushes you back 1 pixel, which then prevents you from falling down the slope and allows you to move through the golem whilst he's standing up. Yeah, just iframes, dude. It's kind of cool. And then we can get through that just by having good movement. You just have to get used to being fast enough on the double taps to get through that. Oh, if he was 1 tile down, I would have taken damage, but he was a bro for a change. Cool, we're safe. Okay. We're now going to get our second ability for Will. Good old William. Again, charge up when your Will, unleash to move down half a tile. So this second move now is Psycho Slider. This is going to change the way you play as Will, because up until this point, when I was holding down run, I could press the attack button and then stop and cancel my attack by running. It should be noted that whilst I can do a dash attack or like a dash attack with Freedan, because he doesn't have a jump attack, Will does. If I attack and then press the direction I'm facing, I'll jump attack. It gives me iframes, it deals more damage. I don't have that ability to do that, but then this takes it away again. By now, mid-run, if I attack, I will slide instead, which is powerful as you can see, but it also allows me to move through places better, but it does make for some, you just have to kind of shift the way you approach the game and your inputs when that happens. But it allows you to fit through small passageways like that, so we can now get through different areas. And we're going to use this to bounce ourselves up, and we're through. Whew. All this time as well, my HP's been going down. I've been gearing up for a death warp. If you die before you get this last item, I'm sorry, dude. You found the second Statue of Hope. So this is the last one. The Statue of Hope I should have mentioned, but I didn't. When you get a Statue of Hope and take it to the Room of Hope, the water line lowers. The line just kind of goes down. So essentially we're getting to deeper parts of Mu each time. Flashes. So now we can reach the deepest part of Mu. I'm going to be introducing a new little glitch here, which unfortunately, if it if it was a glitch that we could use a lot, it would be so good. But unfortunately, it's very limited in how we can actually apply it. But it's very, very cool nonetheless. I'll preface it by saying that it's an iframe glitch. We can lock in our iframes and never take damage, with a caveat. A very annoying caveat. So now we can reach the very, very depths of Mu. We're going to be collecting Ra statues. Statues in honor of the god Ra. Sorry, Rama. Sorry, not Ra. There are 2 of these. Now, what I did there is I did a slide attack into a key item chest, as you saw there. This means that because when I ran through that guy, for example, I can now take. I just don't take damage because my iframes are locked in. However, whenever you scroll the screen, or if you use another move that has iframes, like a slide or a jump attack, the iframes would naturally be removed when the move would lose them. So, if I did another slide or a jump attack, I would lose the glitch. But it's helpful in tiny ways. So now I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to die on the way out of this fight, because I'm not. Because I'm just going to go straight through. But they're cleared again immediately. It's really annoying that you can't use it more. But again, marathon safety, I'm going to make a save here. I normally have this file set up, saved, but I didn't because I've been practicing different things. Whoops. Record, thank you. Yeah, I've been practicing different saves, so I didn't have it set up. Normally I would. But yeah, that is a marathon save point, just because this next boss fight is a bit dumb. Thanks, game. Thanks, game! You can see why I saved. HP is very precious in this next fight. And so is RNG. Welcome to the first big chunk of RNG. Now, there is RNG in the past, but it's been very, very minor. This is the first actual kind of like big RNG test. Like Viper is a little bit, and Castos is a little bit, sure, but this is where it really starts kicking in. The vampires is the next fight. I've offered up the statues to Rama, spoken with the souls of Rama, and they're like, go and fight some vampires, bro. They're the one who somehow managed to kidnap Eric again, and he's got a bomb attached to him. Save him. Why not? I'm going to be fighting 2 vampires, and a female and a male. The female deals more damage, but is less aggressive. I'm going to do this fight and focus on it. This is where my iframes are a godsend. So I'm going to be doing... What's really good to know is that the vampires do not have... they do not have hurt boxes on their bodies. So you can run through them, but their shields that they produce when you do attack them deal damage. So the woman deals 5 damage, the man deals 4. So the woman is very, very powerful. So we attack the man to begin with because we want to start by just getting him down because he's going to be the last one we're going to be going after. And then... I'm going to do this just to be safe. This is why we have 2 herbs, and this is why I also save, because if you have bad RNG, and the enemies just don't play nice, or you take too many hits because your iframe attacks are just slightly off, then, you know. 1, 2, 3, there we go. So the timer is pretty much a direct representation of how well that fight went. So you can probably guess what you need to do to have a good fight there. The woman can only move to each adjacent junction, so you can see that there's like sections. So she can only move in one line to a junction, and that's it. And she'll move in very, very obvious and patternable ways, so you can guess where she's going to move. The man can move anywhere. So what you want to happen is you want the vampires to double up. And if you double up, you're hitting them both at the same time, so you're dealing double damage essentially with every single attack. My PB, they doubled up 3 times. And they doubled up 3 times considerably. So I had a very, very, very fast PB there. The jump attack is the best way to do it because you can activate more iframes consistently as you go. And the idea is to kind of like attack a few times naturally, and then jump attack through the shield, then jump attack when it comes back in. So that's why we fight with Will. So Freedan does deal more damage. Boss damage in this game is fixed. So Will always deal 1 damage to bosses. Freedan will always deal 2. And there is a third character, spoilers, who deals 3. So we can't level ourselves up. We just deal that much damage. But Will has iframes, and Freedan doesn't. So there you go. So yeah, at this point, we're running through a tunnel for like 1,000,000 years. And then Riverson, or Seth, through the body of Riverson, tells us what's going on. By being part of nature, Seth is now that he's part of the god of Riverson. He knows that Gaia, the world, is being affected by the light of a comet that is coming nearby, and it's distorting everything about the world. And this is why it's heightening Will's dark power and his psychic ability. So this comet is passing by Earth, and it's an evil comet, and the light from it is distorting what is happening to the Earth. Now, this game has 2 names, Illusion of Gaia and Illusion of Time. Both names fit, because Illusion of Gaia, literally the world itself, is being transformed. The world that we're living in right now is an illusion. This is not the real world, but we're fighting through it to bring back the reality of the world. And we'll have a little look at the Illusion of Time a bit later. So there's that. Right, after getting through the tunnel, we find ourselves in Angel Village. Which is a very, very short but very, very cool dungeon. I thought I had to mash that one way. 1, 2. Okay, I got 3. Nice. So it's kind of like a bunch of small, quick rooms with a few puzzles here and there. If you have a look at the fire, they're going different ways. Maybe the wind is coming from here. I'm just going to tank a hit through this guy. Double, or do a dash attack rather, to go there. Now the wind tunnel slows you down, so we do slide attacks because it's the quickest way to move in this tunnel. Then we're just going to do slides through these guys. Hopefully they drop health for me, please. Be nice. Never mind. And again, now we're going to hear the sound of water, so you listen out. There we go. The water is loudest there. So this is kind of like giving you the idea about how we're going to be moving forward. This is a nice little puzzle section coming up. A spot the difference type deal. I'll give you guys a second to figure it out, but I'm going to be figuring it out very quickly, so there it is! It is, yes, the blue vase. Well done, you! Viewer number 423. You got it right! I wonder what the difference is here. Ah, yes, 2 blue vases. Well done, 642. You did get it right. What are the differences here? Well, there's an herb in there. What must it be? That is correct, viewer 22. It is the chest being the same. This last one, though. Correct indeed. The wind was blowing, so I was different. Viewer 1039, you got it correct. Good job, you. So, get all 4 rooms correct, and we grab ourselves the magic powder. Magic dust, sorry. So he painted himself to death. He's now just gone full on Dorian Gray inside there, because he painted and stopped. But Kara's in there, so we use the magic dust to get her out of there. So yeah, he painted himself into a portrait, gave us the magic dust and said, "She needs to live, not me," after he put her in there in the first place. Good lad. So I managed to gold split this next split, which is one of the most annoying parts of the game. We're going to be going to the Great Wall of China very, very shortly, and it is tough. Beforehand, we're going to go check in with Watermaya, or Watermia. I say Watermaya, get over it. If you've ever seen Waterworld with, I want to say Kevin Costner. Could be wrong. Yeah, it's like that. This is Luke's house. He's a lovable young fisherman. I am going out on a long fishing voyage. You can use my house while I'm gone. Cheers. By the way, I'm just going to quickly, whilst we're out, just on the side, it's Lily's birthday. She's turning 14 today, or 13, something like that. She's young. So when we get back, can you sing Happy Birthday with me for her? Okay, great. Thank you so much, indeed. Just wanted to make sure that she didn't hear it, because it's her birthday. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, blue-haired girl. Here's some cake we found on the shelf. I don't know how long it's been there. Do not try the frosting. And many more. Alright, so we give her shelf cake, and then Lance is all, excuse me, do you want to come outside for a chat? And he's all, Lily, I have to tell you now, I love you. She says nothing. You don't have to answer right away, I just wanted to tell you how I feel. And then she just runs away. She just sods off like, oh! Turns into a dandelion after being given her like an ancestor or something, I don't know, a sunflower. And off she goes. And he's all, damn. Is it because I'm ginger? I don't know. He's sad. We don't know why she left. But he disappears. And then in our pocket we find ourselves a letter from Lance. Thank you, dude. Upon reading the letter, we can now make our way to the Great Wall of China, which has got some really cool tricks in it. I did mention that Will cannot do a dash attack the way that Freedan can. So you can run and then attack with Freedan and keep running. You can't do that with Will because he has his jump attack. And now slide. There's a little caveat to that. No one said anything about being able to attack perpendicular on very, very large hitboxes. Yay! That shouldn't be playing a noise. I don't think you guys can hear that. I can hear that, you guys can't. Good. So, yes. We can make our way through enemy hitboxes because they're so large by doing perpendicular attacks. Like that. Okay. I'm fine! No! Those aren't tears. That's determination. Just pouring out of my eyes. We're going to do 2 hits of here. Attack once to get round, mister. You can do the perpendicular attack on those, but they have a very, very tight hitbox compared to the archers. The archers' hitboxes are just nuts. They are so big, dude. So we just abuse the fact that the archers have a hitbox that's like 3 miles wide. So... Okay. Raise your hand if you like sequence breaks. Yes, I do too. This is huge. This is about 1.5 minutes worth. This is massive. Right, we're going to go 1, 2, slide. Now, normally the game would keep you going over there, and then you get an ability to get you back here. And then when you go back here, you can like grab a character. I'm going to go and grab Freedan, basically. So normally you'd go and get a skill, come back and get Freedan, go and defeat an enemy using Freedan's long range, and then come back and grab Will and then go forward again. So instead of going forward, back, forward, back, forward, we're going to go... Well, we're going to go forward. Essentially. So it cuts like a lot of backtracking out. But it's nice. So normally we'd come here with Will. Jump down, go and get Spin Dash, a new skill. Go back and get Free Dan. Come here with Free Dan. Kill this guy with Free Dan. Because this guy unleashes a white orb to continue the game. But we don't need to do that just yet. 4 hits and he's down. We're going to jump. Whee! Whee! And whee. There we go. Hello, friend. This is the third and final skill. Every character has 3 skills, or Free Dan and Will have 3 skills. What's really ironic about the 100% run is that we only get the red jewels. We don't get all the skills for Free Dan. The 100% run in IOG makes absolutely no sense. We don't get all the stat upgrades either. It's a weird category, but it was made ages ago, and it's going to be hard to change the rules now. Plus, there's a really cool skip that we can do if you don't get a skill. So there's that. Okay. So, Spin Dash is a really cool move. Not only is it a great offensive tool, but it's also good for just getting around faster. It's much faster than running. It's like, I think, 1.3, 1.5 times the speed. I can't remember the exact speed up. It's faster. That's a really weird hitbox, like knockback thing. Don't know why it works, but sure. Okay. So we had our first bit of RNG in the vampire boss. Now we're going to have the biggest bit of RNG in the game. This is the biggest bit of RNG in the game. And whilst it's not the sole thing that can guarantee a run dying or not, it is a big part of the run dying or not. This is Sandfanger. You have to fight him as Will, and we'll go through it afterwards. I'm going to focus for a sec. So he has 3 moves. Dive up like this, where you can only hit him twice. Wow, I actually missed that. That's embarrassing. So you can only hit him a maximum of 2 times when he dives up. He's got a slide like this, where he dives to the side, where you can only hit him a maximum of 2 times. Or he does this, where you can hit him up between 7 and 8 times. So you can probably guess which one I want to see more of. Which move I really want to see. Give or take, an egg will save about 15, or between like 10-15 seconds on a dive. So, yeah. It's not a difficult fight. It's just, you have to be on it. You have to be on it for hitting him. Like, if you don't want to be missing hits going left when he's just doing these ones. If you do, you're really unfortunate, or you'll run out of dude. Bad fight, unfortunately. What was it, 3 eggs? 4 is the minimum you want to have a not bad fight. But, I think the last 2 times I got more than 3 were my PB and the PB before it. So, yeah. It costs a lot of time. It's about 15 seconds between a 3 and a 4 egg Sandfanger, and then another 15 between 4 and a 5. The best you can get is like a 950-ish, low 950, 945 kind of time for that split, and my best is a 10 flat. So just need 1 more egg. So there's that. Lily then admits that she does indeed love Lance as well. And that's good. Yay! Isn't love nice? So they run off together. He hasn't felt like that in like a million summer days. So that's good. So now we've saved our friend. We're going to go and kill a guy. Because that's just how I roll. Really weirdly, this is one of the few screens that you can actually run against a wall. Normally you just hit the edge, but because it's moving as well, it keeps you moving for some reason. So yeah, this is Russian glass. It's like Russian roulette, but with one poison chalice. It never changes. It's not RNG, which is very, very helpful. You can tell which one it is. You cheat, essentially, because Will has psychic powers. If you check the one on the right, it goes, oh, this one looks a bit dodgy. And then it's like, are you sure you want to drink it? And then it's the second option, which is yes. So you have to find out how you have to like die. You have to like actively kill yourself in that one, but to drink that glass. But he's like, no, I'm the champion, and he just goes for it. So it's a bit of an interesting story. It's quite serious. Like the reason he's playing Russian glass is he's terminally ill, that man, and he is betting his life to raise money. Like he's betting it all to win, and he's winning money to give to his wife, his expecting wife, to give money to make sure his wife and his child have money after he dies. That's why he's risking his life in Russian glass. In the end, he does die, and then his wife is like, "Ah, my husband left you this letter to the person who beats me in Russian glass," and it gives us his prized crux. They're basically kangaroos. And we cross the desert to the city of Euro. We finally arrive in the village of Euro, which is a bustling city. I don't know, guys. It's not a game over if you drink it, but like you just do the death animation. You go back to the house and you have to do it again. Well, welcome to Rolex, dude. Turns out Neil is the son of a big businessman called Rolex. This is slower by like half a second, but I do it just because it's much more safe. We're going to talk to two old men who are having a smoke and talking about, you know, mushrooms on a mountain. Of course. So, Mount Temple, also called Mount Cress. This is a maze, and it's a movement dream. This is one of those dungeons that just feels like, oh man, it is sexy if you get this right. Just feels good. Cheers, mate. I'm going to be trying to take damage here and there as well, obviously, because I want to do a death warp at the end of this dungeon. Whee! Thanks, mate. Whee! So I'm going to be using the spin dash whenever I can to speed up rooms like that. Okay, so here we go. Movement. Movement. God, somebody touch me. Let's go! This is one of those games that everyone's always like, ugh, double tap run, and I get it. It's not as easy as just holding down the X button, but it means you actually have to be good at moving. Can you believe that? So it just feels good to do, right? You know. Whee! So again, iframe onto the chest so that we get the iframe glitch, and allows us just to run past some spiders because that matters. Gonna charge up another spin dash here. Whee! Grab the mushroom drops, use them, and off we go. Okay, so we need to grab 3 sets of mushroom drops here and make our way to... There's also another reason why I like this dungeon. I'll see if you can figure it out. You have limited hints. My accent and the item. There you go. Whee! Once again. Another iframe into the chest. I haven't taken any damage, any damage right now, which kind of sucks. It's fine though. I can force it for the next area. Be nice. A little bit of lag. Okay, so those sprites, not the images, but the sprites, the enemies are called sprites. If more than 2 of them are on screen, it lags the game because there are so many sprites on the screen, especially with the fire as well going around them. Damn, that was bad movement. No, no longer truly sexy movement. Oh well. Oh well. We can't always have sexy movement. That's how it goes. There's no point in iframing that one because we're going to jump almost immediately and lose the iframes. LOL. The mushroom drops once again, ladies and gents. Can you believe it? Yay! So, I'm going to play this the I need to take damage way. Hurt me more, dog. Ah, laggy. Not bad. And we have to take 3 hits. You want to end up with 4 HP, so 1 hit from the sprites will finish you. But I was a bit conservative. Boom. So, why do I like Mount Cress? Mount Temple? That's why. Because I love a cuppa. Boom, bang, bosh! Cheeky death warp! I'm so close to my gold, it's unbelievable. Like, oh my word, that was a really good dungeon. Okay. Back to the city, village, capital, hamlet of Euro. Once more. Speaking of hamlet, if you're a member of the fighting class, you know what to do. Hang on to it. Don't do it yet, but prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. If I see 1 prematurely, we're having a chat. We're going down to Chinatown and having a chat. After some nice dumplings. Okay, so we use a teapot, and amazingly, this teapot's a bit different to my one at home. This one doesn't make a cup of tea. It shows that Neil's parents aren't actually alive; they're dead, and he's all sad, and he realizes with a Z how important his parents are to him. And then he's like really sad and upset, and then Will's all, "I'm ashamed to hear you talk that way, Neil. How dare you be upset that your parents are dead?" Because Will's a nice guy. Can we just get a round of applause for Will for being a really, really nice guy? Cheers, Will! Hero to the end. Oh, mate. It's a pig. So, the pig at the start of the game that we haven't seen since. Yeah, he's travelled all the way from, well, South Cape over to Watermire, where he was then sent in a parcel via Rolex delivery service to Euro. Not nearly enough claps for Will being a good hero. Incredibly disappointed in every single one of you. What do you have to say for yourself? Probably nothing, but that's fine. Natives village. The village. Off we go. So, don't worry, guys. He's a cute little pig. In a game like this, he's fine. He is fine. Small pig joins the party. So there are skeletons around. Obviously, it's a heat wave, and then there are some dudes who come in who beat us up. Can you hear it stay here? Yeah, they beat us up. Almost secret of manery in the way that they're gonna, you know, put us on the fire very shortly. The pig, however, is free. Run away, Hamlet! Be free! Hamlet? Why such a sad look? It's as if we will soon be separated. Bowie rip! And we are forever making bacon pancakes, ladies and gentlemen. Go in! Oh, baby, there. Oh, baby, there. Oh, there. Oh, baby. Oh, bacon. Ooh, yummy, 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 yummy. Bacon! Oh, oh yeah. Our mother spirit was inside the pig. That's why Hamlet knew what to do, because the spirit of Will's dead mum was inside Hamlet all along. Obviously. And now we're going to go to Angkor Wat, or Angkor Wat. There's an extra T in there somewhere. My PB is unfortunate because I had one error in my PB and it was here. Rest of the run was insane, but I have one error in this dungeon and it will upset me no end. Okay. Angkor Wat is a very, very tough stage. The enemies hit hard. They can kill you very, very fast. It's very tricky. The movement's very tight. And offensive is very, very tight as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, no, took a hit. Yeah, took a hit. That sucks. Oh well. Life continues. Let's go. Movement again has to be very clean here to get past Pinky McPinkerson. There we go. Nice and easy. Boom. We're gonna run in the darkness because we know where we're going. That's to be remembered that we can run in the darkness. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2. Another usage of the orbs glitch to go upstairs that would appear there. So whenever you see me menu for no reason, I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but if I'm menuing for no reason, it's not for no reason, it is for a reason, and that is creating pathways. We're going to start charging a spin dash here because we're going to use this again to get through a part of this screen nice and quickly, keeping us safe and also bouncing us over the hedges there. Don't hit me, fly. Flies are an annoyance in real life and in this game. So I'm not going to heal because I'm going to be doing a death warp, but not a bad one. Angkor Wat is an interesting dungeon because it's got an inside and an outside. Now the outside basically works as 2 different spawning points. So if you remember in Sky Garden, all the 4 areas to it were different spawn points. So I could die in and return to 4 different starting areas. Well, every time I go outside, I create a new spawn point to start from. So here, I'm going to do a skip first of all. So there's a skill to the right which allows me to do something, but I'm going to skip that skill. So there's an enemy off to the top here, who, if I was to activate, would become immune, and I couldn't do anything to. But by throwing a Dark Friar just off screen like that, it doesn't activate him and still hits him, but I do it with enough distance between us that I can hit him to the right, or to the left, sorry. So he doesn't get knocked up and away. In my PB, I was 1 pixel to the left, and it knocked him up, rather than left, and I had to reset the room. But with that, we run outside, activate the second spawn point, death warp, and now we're Will again. Because we need to be Will for this next section. Rather than going to find a new area, we can just kill ourselves off and become Will. 2. That means we don't take damage and we can run through these, even though I made an error. So this is the bright room. This is very hard to learn at first, but then when you get the hang of it, it's not so bad. 1, run down left, run up left. Oh no, I muffed it up. Went too far. There we go. Okay. I must have messed it up a little bit. I went too far to the left by accident. Hit me, please. Thank you. So I'm going to get hit by 1 Goldie McGoldface and 2 Pinky McPinkersons. And that will allow me to be left with 1 HP. Fun times. I don't know why I did this. Cool. There's my 1 HP. Calculated! So, I was talking about the illusion of time, right? So obviously the world's different and everything's different, but what's this world we're looking at? This is the world that it should be. A modern day city, a metropolis filled with things. Now, this cutscene looks a little balked, and it is for a reason. I didn't talk about a mechanic that I've been doing, because it's not really hugely prominent, but essentially, whenever you're on the world map and you go into a place, the camera zooms out and then zooms back in to go into the dungeon. But if you hold start, it just skips straight to the fade out and you're into the stage. Because I did that on this stage, going into Angkor Wat, that cutscene is knackered because of it, because the mode 7 has not done the zoom out, the zoom in. It's kind of been halted mid-zoom, so, or mid-zoom out. Whoops, I was meant to kill myself on this guy. So actually, it means that that entire cutscene is a lot shorter, which is kind of cool. Very, very small thing, but there you go. And now that we've got the Gorgon flower, which is what we came here for, we can leave. Essentially what's going on in the natives' village is, obviously they have no food, crying face emoji, but also the women have been turned to stone. I can't remember why, it's been too long. But that's obviously very, very sad. Wow, game. And the Gorgon flower is the only way to cure them. So we use the petals to cure the ladies, and the men can now hunt and look after things and not die. All the stuff that, you know, essentially without women, men die because we're rubbish. Slide 1, 2, 3, 2 hits, and then use the menu of the Gorgon flower to get that white orb glitch cancelled out. And I save a boatload of time, because that's where it all is. So we have 1 dungeon left, 1 big dungeon. We're getting towards the end of the game now. I mean, as I said, my PB is 158.39. This is not on pace to be sub 2, just so you know, you are aware. Sorry for letting you down. But we've got 1 final dungeon. By fixing the girls there, by giving them the Gorgon flower, Kara then says, we got to continue moving on. We're going to go to the desert village of Dao. Dao is a desert village, funnily enough. Before we do anything, we're going to go and chat to this lad right here. How's it going, bruh? And then we don't care, we're going to leave. I don't know why he's here. He came over here to say hi. But now we can go to the pyramid, which is BS. It's a great dungeon. It's really cool. It's very, very tough. And of course, the game likes to leave the hardest until last. I have now gone 2 whole dungeons without any upgrades, which is the longest time in the game that you actually go through the game without upgrades. So I'm taking 7 damage per hit, and I have like 26 HP, 27. So yeah, I just get wrecked. 3 or 4 hits and I'm dead, pretty much, at all points, and it's super tight. Now, if you look on the right-hand side, we've got a brand new statue. Yes, indeed, boys and girls. That is Shadow. And we got his 1 skill immediately from from Gaia, light Gaia. By the way, that's Gaia, the essence of the world. She's great. Shadow is like wicked cool. He has this move called Aura, which allows us to sink through the floor. In order to clear out and 100% this dungeon, well, for the 100% route, we only need to use Shadow and Will. For the any percent route, we only use Shadow and Will. But if you want to do it casually, get all the items, you actually need Freedan for a few things. But he's not actually needed, so we're not going to see Freedan anymore. Goodbye, Freedan. This dungeon is tough. This is perhaps the longest stint, or one of the most annoying stints, where we have to not die. You can see how much damage I've taken already. I'm going to do a little trick here called the attack aura cancel. And the attack aura cancel essentially allows me to go into aura and have my attack frames out. And be able to attack enemies without... I got hit loads of times, by the way, that's really, really bad. While, you know, just attack basically whilst I'm landing. It keeps me a little bit safe, but I got kind of trolled by the guard who wasn't being very kind to me. I'm going to try and do this, but I'm not going to overreach it. I'm going to play this safe. Okay. You can use the iframes to get through those guys and touch the button, but with the amount of HP I have, I've only got one hit in me, so I have to be careful. If I die here, that really sucks. Because I have saved, so I could just reset the game and have my herbs to go, which is the ideal here. But thank you. We have a little bit of time to play around. If you have time for any donations, now would be a good time. The killer 6. No, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna reset because I have my herb then. Yeah, I misdid that. I haven't failed that for about 3 months, 4 months, but you know, there's a first time for everything. The killer 6 is one of the hardest tricks in the game. That's gonna add a lot of time. That's really unfortunate. These things happen. It was a bad start. I knew I could tell that I wasn't playing as optimally as possible when I was going into that one. Maybe that kind of mindset was getting to me a little bit, but such is life, friends. Such is life. You got to fail it every now and then just to kind of keep you honest, you know. But yeah, door 3 is like the hardest part of the pyramid, so it's why we do it first. We want to get it out of the way. It's just funny how, like, in my PB, again, I did all 3 of Shadow's rooms without taking any damage until the bit when I actually had to take damage. You know, wow, video game. Like, the game's been really harsh to me. The orbs are very weird, insofar as they have cycles of attack, but they can be... I just killed myself off because I knew that I took 2 hits at the start. I'm not accepting that. Yeah, the orbs can be baited to attack quickly in quick succession. And what happened there is I'm standing off screen enough that their first attack gets cancelled out. But then they fired another one early because of how aggressive I was moving. So it's kind of one of those things. Like, ah! Ah! That's what it was supposed to look like first time. I don't know why it didn't. But yeah. There we go. Oh dear. That's exactly what's meant to happen, but again, everything went completely tits up in my first set of RNG there. That is what happens like 9 times out of 10 there. It's just sometimes you get a bit unlucky. Pressure's off now though, isn't it? So it's just like, whatever. This is the longest section. Dying here is the biggest time loss in the game, which kind of sucks. There we go. Okay. So how many deaths is that? Like 3? I'll take it. Had worse. Let me go. Let me guess. I'm going to do this without getting hit, right? Of course, naturally. It's not even a hard trick. It's one of the hardest things to get right because it's very very position sensitive, but it's not hard, as you see. I say it's not hard. Whenever this is one thing I need to kind of like, I've always wanted to say when it comes to speedrunning is, when people talk about difficulty, generally, not universally, but generally they're talking about in perspective to themselves. So if someone says like, oh, that was bad, that was really bad, that was really slow, they're not talking about, like, really. It's not really slow what they're doing. It's still really fast. It's just in comparison to what it could potentially be for their level. So when I say it's not hard for me because I've done it a million times. But it is a very, very tough trick to nail down. So if you do pick this game up and you're struggling with that, the early shot because of the aggression, oh my god, are you serious, dude? Thanks, RNG. It is a hard trick, but you get used to it after a while and it becomes something you can just do quite simply. But again, as you can see, getting hit twice because RNG's mode. This game is very execution intensive. It's a very, very, very hard run. And getting a sub 2 is a massive achievement. There are, as I said, there are only like it's not a like quiet leaderboard. There's a good few people who run the game, and only 3 people have sub 2s. So it's one of those things that it's a tough game, and as I say, it's super rewarding. I am actually that's a lot more time loss than I remember it being. I like to finish, just for your reference sake, I guess. I like to finish. Oh yeah, because I did have to reset twice, or redo the third room twice. I like to finish shadow section sub 8. We're currently into the 10-minute mark of this particular split, so. Again, doing attack aura cancels to get through here. It's kind of simple. That might be it. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's it. So here's a little trick. If you're pixel perfect again and you're exactly on the spot where the door is, I'll go through the door without watching the splash animation. Yay! A very important trick that is mandatory to be able to complete the game. Wow. I actually lost, yeah, about 4 minutes to that. That is crazy. I am 4 minutes? Yeah. That's a big death. It is the biggest time loss in the game if you die in door 3. Especially if you die at the very, very bottom. I should have reset it earlier, but I didn't. Okay, Now to the easiest section, which is just will. So the will sections, the reason it's easier to do the will sections is because every time you complete an area, you can just death warp. So taking damage generally isn't a worry. So what we're doing, essentially, by the way, is grabbing 6 hieroglyphic stones, and basically they will be placed in a certain order to unlock the like the deepest chamber to defeat the boss to get our last mystic statue. We need to collect the 6 mystic statues to be able to defeat, well, to be able to go to the to stop the comet, essentially. If we get 6 mystic statues, the comet's going to get GG'd. Is the long and the short of it. Seriously? That's fine. Yeah, my input was just a little bit wayward there. Iframes are lovely. Get destroyed, spike ceilings! So we're going to keep doing this. Need the full distance. Thank you. Almost screwed that up. That's 5 out of 6. One more to go then. Nice and easy. Let's go. So this the last section again is just getting to the end using spin dash whenever possible to sort of obviously get up hills, be immune to stuff, so it's just nice and easy. Oh my word, are you serious? I accidentally my input was too clean. You have to be up here to get the down speed up to do that. You can't just be down on the lower end and do that. Whee! Okay, cool. I'm gonna go. I need this. This is a quick break, so I'm just gonna go and grab some water during this. But I have a part to go and grab some water because I'm a little bit parched. After all these things, we come back here. Now, if you remember, about I want to say 10 minutes into the game, we got a little sheet on the wall that said, "I am the jackal. I'm gonna come after you and find you." And we haven't heard about him again the entire game. There he is. That's the jackal. Now, the thing with the jackal is there are people and NPCs who talk about him. There is information about him, but it's just not in the main story. If you go out and find it, then hurrah, you know. But it's not there. I'm going to play the flute and enjoy this harrowing scene. Remember, Will's a good guy. Kara. Peggy 3, suitable for all ages. Okay, big menu now. I've got to put these things in order. So it's bird, leg, key, sit owl, stone. So again, boss damage is based on form, so Shadow deals 3 damage, not 2 or 1. So he's the strongest, and also very, very helpful against this next boss. I haven't really talked too much about the Japanese differences and in Western differences, because there have been a few, like Viper, that bird boss we fought, has a different head in the Japanese version. But there's a massive difference in Japanese for this fight here and this fight alone. And that difference is that you can one-cycle the Mummy Queen in JP. The reason you can do that in JP is because when you use Quaker and you stun her, she doesn't break into this form. So this is a very slow fight. Every time you hit her, she goes into like this form where she spreads out as ghosts and then resets. But if you use Quake in the Japanese version, she's stunned forever and you can just sit there and whack away 20 hits with 3 damage, she's down. But if you do that in this version, she becomes the ghosts again. Now, when we get below half HP, so I think 7 hits, she'll have 19 HP left, where we would have hit by 21. She'll then go into a different form. And that different form is that she'll do one of 2 things. If she is either going to move, like that, or fire a blue bolt, she, instead of spreading like this, and spreading out into the 8 directions, she will become a ring, and 1 ghost is hittable. So we want her to become the ring, so we can hit the ghost, bring her back into her physical form, so we can defeat her. So let's see. Movement. Ghost. If she does Earthquaker, this happens. So annoying, dude. Wow. You want 7 rings. You want to sing the 7 rings in hand by Sonic, but no. I should note as well that if you get hit twice, you're dead. She's just that strong. Okay, that's the last boss. So now that we've done the pyramid, yay, good. We get our last mystic statue that we can grab, and there's 1 missing. So we need to hurry to the Tower of Babel, which is where a year ago this whole thing started. I will go slightly. I mean, if I just see this run out now, I'll go slightly over estimate by like 20 seconds. 30 perhaps. Not much though. So we're going to the Tower of Babel. There we go. Oh yeah, the fire's out. Yeah. Just a pile of bones is left. Lovely, absolutely lovely. I guess I won't see you for a long time. When you finished your business, hurry back to South Cape. Thank you. We made the trip together. On this trip, everyone found something. Lance met Lily and found his lost father. Neil decided to take over his parents' company. Kara lived. I can go to the toilet at night. Great job, Eric. I'm really proud of you. Guys, let's get some hype in chat for Eric being able to finally go to the loo at night by himself. Woo! We love you, Eric! Toilet boys for life. Remember to charge parachutes, boys and girls. Remember to charge parachutes. Okay. Last dungeon is the Tower of Babel. Not really a dungeon, it's just a boss rush. We're going to fight all of the bosses again. This time with Shadow. Oh, by the way, beginning of the game, we went to, we got that letter from the king saying, bring the crystal ring, and we didn't have it, so he threw us in prison. It was inside the flute all along. A Lamau. There we go. So, but it's weird though, because we found a crystal ring when we were on the Incan gold ship. At least, you know, the queen who was a skeleton. Kara found a crystal ring, and there were 2 crystal rings there: a light ring and a dark ring. Now, Will had the possession of the dark ring all along. It's been in the flute, which hasn't apparently fallen out at all during the entire adventure, but it did when I ran into a barrier. And then Kara, for the majority of it now, has had access to the light crystal ring. Light and dark? Okay, here we go. First one is Dark Cast-Off. Yeah. Be good RNG, please. Yes! 1 cycle! Come on! It's guaranteed. Do an attack or a cancel just to get the perfect frame image. Just because you have a guaranteed hitbox, so it's always going to be frame perfect damage. Do do do. So yeah, we're going to be climbing up the tower and just dealing with all the bosses again. This is again a very heavy RNG section just because the bosses are again back to back. Now, the speed up that we can get from the vampires doubling up is huge. The vampires are actually a very difficult fight though, because where the original didn't have a hurt box on their body, these ones do. So it's actually a bit harder to get this one without taking damage. So we're going to be doing attack aura cancelling again. Running into the enemy, throwing out an attack, and then cancelling with the aura to do this kind of stuff. Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful, darling. No double ups, of course, though, so that's great. Please. Oh wow, I screwed up. My bad. That was a slow fight, unfortunately, because I missed my cancel. Just to kind of clarify, in case people are confused how the attack aura cancel works, I'm throwing out an attack hitbox and then cancelling the attack hitbox by using the aura. And then it just means that for the position where my body is, I have that hitbox just lasts and is just guaranteed out until I come out of aura again. So Dark Fanger is actually really silly. You can do this guy in 2 cycles if he gives you double egg. If he starts laying eggs, great. If he gives you this, you're losing so much time. Oh my word, are you serious? The timing was just off. What a good bastard! Yeah, the amount of runs that have been killed by this dude. I got 1 egg at least, so whatever. Suddenly, though, for some reason, we're missing MVP star player Kara. So far, so bad. pretty mediocre vampire fight and not the best Sandfanger. Yeah, I don't know whether vampires help you out there. Great start. If you use his Earthquaker, you have to run straight up, just because she's going to stay up here. Also to note, as well, this fight is just as slow as it was last time, whereas the other ones you can, like, just murder through. Are you serious? Whilst the other ones you can murder through and get one cycles on pretty much all of them. Great video game. This is just as slow, so you have to kind of just hope that she gives you a good pattern again. I think this is the most tedious boss. Even though Sandfanger is a bit BS, this is the most tedious fight because... So how was your day? Oh, I? Nice. So when they were saying that, what did you say? I see, I see. So wait, Karen with a count, she's like that, you know. She wants what's best for you, alright? She's a good egg, Karen. Moving good. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, thank you. Video game. I'm trying to not be bad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 7 rings. Nice. I screwed up, but I got 7 rings. Yeah. There's about 5 minutes left in the run, so yeah, I'm going to be just over estimate. It'll probably be a 206 at this rate, just because the Babel's been that bad. It's really weird. Like, you can't really tell how good Babel's going to be. Really, I just find it hard to gauge how good Babel is, and then until I get here, I know it's 2 minutes upon completing Mummy Queen that you split, or at least I split, and then the final thing's like 3.5 minutes. So, yeah, we lost 4.5 minutes to the first bit of Pyramid, so that's where all the time loss is coming from, really. Other than that, pretty good run. Like, that one death just costs so much time. So, no. I'll take this long section then, so we can get on with it after I split for final split. I'll take this time to say thank you very much to Ghost Kumo, his team, Delphi Ghoul OC et al, who are putting on our RPG Blitz, because as he said at the start, most people think that RPG speedruns are like your million-hour Final Fantasies. But unlike Final Fantasy speedruns, some RPG speedruns are good. Ooh, he said it! No, that's a lie. Some RPG speedruns are not as long as that, and they are anywhere between 30 minutes, 2 hours. You know, there's a nice length there that you can, get your teeth stuck into with some good execution, nice little bits of RNG that you can jump around and bounce on. There are a lot of games out there that do that, so I think it's very good that they put on something that celebrates that. So thank you very much to the team for putting that on. Further to that, thank you very much for having Illusion of Gaia in the marathon, because any percent is a category that I've been running for a while now. I started learning Hundo, but any percent hasn't had any marathon time really, or any major marathon time. I am hopefully it's going to be at Limit Break this year. We'll find out when the things are announced. We'll see, but. It's one of those ones where it's a great run, and I'm happy that that the guys chose me to not just run it, but open the show. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the run so far. We've just got the boss fight at the end to do. After talking to everything, we then use the power of the 6 mystic statues. And then we are ancestors. Kara and Will are ancestors of the Dark and Light Knights. Will being the Dark Knight, Kara being the Light Knight. Combining the two, we've got the Dark Knight of Shadow with the Light Knight power of Firebird or Phoenix. We can now fire phoenixes from our arms. Great. So we're going to go into the final boss. We're going to fly to the comet and destroy the comet by taking down the heart of the comet, which is, first of all, the comet's face, and then Dark Gaia. Great. So again, thank you very much for not only having me run the game, but open the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's going to be a lot of great runs coming up. Don't miss out. Make sure to tweet out, retweet anything that the guys are putting out there. So to kind of get the scope out there, tell people in your Discords, advertise it out, because it's pretty sweet. This music's amazing, so I'll let you guys enjoy. So if you aura at 8 bolts, you'll skip the rest of them. But if you want to go man mode, you can just dodge them all. Cancel to get the first frame. Final boss. This can be 3-cycled. It's hard. So here we go. This is Dark Gaia. She's annoying. Got it. 5 hits. Okay, so you need to get 2 cycles of 5 hits, and then you'll guarantee the kill. So if I get another 5-hitter, I'm going to get the 3-cycle. It's very, very tight timing though. You have to get the first hit early. It's kind of like Cast-Offy in a way, but just not as tight. Cool, got it. Perfect. Okay, sure. It wasn't the best run, but let's end it with a 3-cycle. Why not? Play nicely for the finale at least. That's always good. Always a good vibe when you get 3-cycle. Time's coming up on the last hit, so be careful. Get ready on time. And time. There you go, 2:06:10. Not bad. We lost the 4 minutes from Pyramid, but there you go. Illusion of Gaia, any percent. Pretty cool, pretty fun run. And then that's it. This is now the only other screen in the game that doesn't have the HUD. There you go. Not too displeased. We only had one major error, and that was the death in Pyramid, which just costs 4 minutes. So, life is fun. So I'll kind of give you a quick rundown of what happens afterwards. Now that we've destroyed the comet and Dark Gaia, Earth will return to normal, and we'll go back. The continents will become the normal continents again, and we'll go back to modern day because these guys are just modern day kids, living in a different world because of the illusion of Gaia and the illusion of time. But yeah, it's a really, really cool run. If you're interested in looking at it. There is obviously the IOG, and to be fair, the entire Soul Blazer trilogy, or quintet games Discord for Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, Terra Enigma, get wrecked America, Robotrek, ActRaiser 1 and 2. They make fantastic games. They're all really good runs, and have a wonderful community. So if you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out. Pretty sure some people in the community would welcome you with open arms if you're interested in these games. They're very good games. Quintet are a fantastic company. And then this is a good run. I know that Double Tap scares a lot of people, but it's rewarding. So that's Illusion of Gaia, any percent. One big death that cost me, amongst a bunch of other small, tiny errors, but you know, that's IOG.